biggest truth you need to know about gambling is that it's never about the money. If you're going to believe a single word from this 82-year-old man living alone in this pathetic, small, damp apartment in New Jersey, let it be this. What you put on the line when you sit at a gambling table is never dollar bills. People like me left the peaceful sleep of our wives on those tables, under those endless neon lights of Atlantic City that strip away your sense of time. On those tables, I left my daughter's college dreams and the unbreakable trust that used to shine in my son's eyes when he looked at me. Contrary to what people think, gamblers aren't greedy. We are the world's greatest dreamers, and, though we hate to admit it to ourselves, the most pathetic liars every single time. I whispered the same sentences to myself. Just one more hand, Thomas. Just one more hand, Thomas. When the next jackpot comes, everything will be fine. That was the most swirling, dark, and toxic effect of the American dream. The desire to find shortcuts to being a hero. Now, as I approach the final stops of my life, I realized that even those rare nights when I won actually resulted in a loss for me, because every victory was nothing more than shackles, pulling me a little deeper into that bottomless pit. Today, all I have left is nothing but their photos in my wallet. The painful part is the people in those photos don't recognize me anymore. If you're saying everything will change next time right now, you need to stop. Because there is only one winning side at that table, and that side will never be you. It all started in the late 70s. I remember the first night I went to Atlantic City, as if it were yesterday. The year was 1978. The air was cool, and the salty breeze blended with the city's neon lights. That night, I sat at the table, and my first big win was equivalent to exactly 1 week's salary. This win made me feel like not just the money in my pocket, but my entire destiny had changed. I told myself my first big lie. See, Thomas, the way to truly make them happy is clear. From that moment on, I began to see every loss as just a small price to be paid for the next big win. While Sarah was in the kitchen preparing the Thanksgiving turkey, I was chasing bets in the bedroom, hidden from her. I couldn't get my mind off those massive halls, filled with smoky, stale air, where time and reality were left at the door. I believed I was the lucky one who would make everything right with the next big move. It turns out I was just a pathetic man who set his own house on fire with a matchstick and then tried to keep warm with that fire. I remember that night when everything turned upside down. It was 1994. My daughter Emily had graduated. There was a big celebration at home, the scent of cinnamon, and that fake American suburban peace. But I sat in the midst of those laughs, as if I was standing before a firing squad, because I was the only one who knew the terrifying truth. That college fund account, saved since the day Emily was born, had vanished into thin air 3 weeks ago. I can never forget that silence. When Sarah looked at me, I felt the thin layer of ice of my 40 years of lies sliding out from under me. Sarah didn't scream. She didn't break a single plate. I just watched that unshakable faith in her blue eyes go out like a candle flame. Thomas, everything, she asked. Her voice was so low, it was like a whisper of the wind. I could only nod my head as my son James was leaving home on his 18th birthday. He said only one thing to me. You're not a winner, Dad. You're just someone who is a master at losing us. That sentence still rings in my ears, even at 82. Those massive casinos in Atlantic City have no windows. Do you know why? Because those places want you to completely forget the world outside. The passing seasons, how your children are growing taller, and those waiting for you at home with hope. I sacrificed those most precious moments, those Sunday mornings that have no repeat, for that cursed royal flush that never came, even once. Now, I walk on that boardwalk by the ocean, and when I see a father taking his child on his shoulders, I feel how something under my ribcage still aches. True success was having a love running toward you from inside when you open the door with your key in the evening. Behind my door, there are only dust motes and the ghosts of the past. In my children's lives, I am not a father. I am just a bad story that should be forgotten on the dusty shelves of the past. Time is the only thing the gambling table never, ever returns. I am telling you this story as a man whose hands still tremble. Maybe you're looking at a betting app on that smartphone in your hand right now. You tell yourself, I'm doing this for my family. Right? Well, that sentence is the brightest stone on the road to hell. The house always wins, kid. And the house doesn't collect your money. It collects your time and the faith your loved ones have in you. Listen to the steps of your children running to you. Hear that familiar voice of your wife. Those sounds are much more valuable than all the diamonds in the world. Please, don't play that last hand. Delete that app. Get up from that table. Now, immediately. Because true victory is not those chips you win at the table, but the existence of those people truly laughing with you at the dinner table in the evening. This was Thomas's last recording. You still have a chance to win back your life. Use it well.